Thank you. This is the closest America's Cup for ages, much closer than the results show, and we are all very happy to be here. It's not yet over, but with such an impressive challenger, and it's a memorable day today, more than 6 lead changes, 1 error, and Luna Rossa loses the race. Those votes are amazing. We must keep that race on fire for sure, because it's really an impressive race. Congratulations to Emirates Team New Zealand, but congratulations also to Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli. The show was so great. After a real street fight, ETNZ wins the 9th race and lead by 30 seconds and leads the final 6-3. So Jimmy, another good start. You nearly won all of them. You finally lost today's only race. Was it pure bad luck or a lack of control on the last beat?
Well, firstly, I just want to say well done to Emirates Team New Zealand, to Glenn and Pete for sailing an awesome race. It was a fun race to be involved in. Obviously, we would have liked to have come out on top, but man, that was a lot of fun, and it was great to go back and forwards with 2 of the best in the world here sitting next to me. Yeah, look, we approached the race. We had a good plan. I thought we had a great strategy. We executed, got ahead, and it was a very, very tough racetrack. You know, we've been speaking for days now to you guys about if we get on course C, we're going to see some action. And that's exactly what you saw. So, yeah, it's a dynamic course and things can change and happen very, very quickly.
And Keiko, on the last beat, you expected the wind to shift to the left?
No. Well, yeah, I was expecting the wind to go left. No, I just, when we went to the crucial moment, I was in charge, unfortunately. I wish you were. I was in charge, and I saw a very light patch in front of me. And honestly, I couldn't see the black band, what we call the kiwi puff now, behind it. I missed it. But I was really worried about crossing that light patch ahead of me. And we had a discussion. Pietro was involved. Pietro agreed with me that we had to keep protect the left, and we did it. But there was a reason, and probably I would do the same mistake another time.
So Pete, quite an even start, but Luna Rossa took the lead soon after, sailing a little higher. Nothing you can do against Luna Rossa pointing ability. You cannot start to windward.
Yeah, well, we thought it was probably like Jimmy said, you know, probably one of our more fun days racing, and it's definitely great to be back in on course C. I think that was something that, you know, was really in the brochure for this event, being in on that inner course, you know, with all the boats around. It was obviously a really close race. You know, we felt like we got off to a pretty good start, and then Luna Rossa got the right-hand side of us with a bit of a right-hand shift. You know, we couldn't quite hold in there, so then we were slightly on the back foot, but you know, we just kept fighting and kept trying to find opportunities, and don't know how many lead changes they were, but it was great to, you know, get the final shift, and that was pretty much what it came down to.
Glenn, do you agree that Luna Rossa and the Italian crew are really good in these medium conditions?
Yeah, look, I think they're very strong in all conditions, to be fair. You know, they've got a very, very polished sailing team. I think you know, their design and their engineering team have obviously done a fantastic job covering a lot of ranges, and certainly their high mode is a good mode at times. And you know, we have to definitely sail our boat to its strengths, and I think you know, they're certainly sailing their boat to their strengths, and I think that's why we're seeing such fantastic racing. It was extremely tricky out there today, and I think you know, at the end of the day, it was anyone's race, and I think, you know, just lucky for us we came out on top in the end.
You sail faster but lower. Is your compromise better?
Yeah, look, it's a tricky one on these sort of days. You can sail lower and faster, but if you're sailing lower and faster the wrong way, you're going there quickly. So you want to try and keep yourself on the right side of the shifts if you can. There's times where your moding is very, very critical to get to the next puff, or avoid some lulls and that sort of thing. So I think moding today was one of probably the biggest things that you know, was a factor of the day as well.
Question from a champion, Nathan. Please stand up.
Thanks, Brennan. Hey guys, it was awesome racing today. You know, thanks for putting on that show. It kind of reminded me of some of the racing we did, Pete, when we were in Bermuda. Just inches in it the whole way around. It was awesome to see. You know, we're on course C today, and you've done heaps of sailing on that course. What did it feel like to be racing on a course where there were shifts and opportunities?
Yeah, it was definitely a patch of water that I've done a whole heap of yachting in, and a few other people on our boat have done a whole heap of yachting there as well. Not just in the AC classes, but in dinghies. We had the 49er Worlds, pretty similar spot of water, over a year ago, and it was definitely pretty cool to be able to throw it around a race course in these amazing boats and a bit more shifty dynamic conditions. And we definitely had probably one of the more fun races I reckon we've done. I think Jimmy summed it up pretty well. Both teams were sailing probably the best they have, and it was a pretty fun tussle out there. But definitely know that bit of water pretty well.
Yeah, nice. Hey, Bruni, Francesco, it was a great race. You've got to admit that was a lot of fun. And again, you guys, great start. Elbows were out. Give us a bit of a sense of what it feels like when Emirates Team New Zealand are breathing down your neck the whole race and you're just one mistake away from letting them pass. What's that feeling like on board in the moment?
It's a little bit like the feeling when you're trying to draw a fish underwater.
You're trying to drown the fish underwater.
Yes.
It's quite intense, right? It's a intense race, right? Every moment.
Yeah, it's hard to breathe underwater.
Glennie, welcome to the stage. Good to see you, mate. You guys seem to be making it a little bit tough for yourself, not getting off the line as well. Like today was a very even start, but couldn't quite get that first cross. How happy are you once you sort of get free with the boat and its performance and how well you guys are sailing under pressure to keep it tight and force errors like you did today?
Yeah, look, I think, you talk about sort of people putting their elbows out. These guys have got 4 elbows because they can look at both sides of the course, so they put their elbows out pretty wide and do a very good job of the course management. And obviously, they've started extremely well, and it's been tough. I think the racing's been really great in these boats. And I think from the design sort of perspective of the boats, not only are we sort of high performance yachting, but we're high performance, high speed match racing, and that's I think that was showcased today in extraordinary fashion. So look, we're just at the end of the day trying to do the best we can with our equipment, and those guys are certainly getting the best out of theirs. That's for sure.
Yeah, nice, well said. And last one for Jimmy. Jimmy, you've been in this position before, down at the moment, match point. How do you feel? What's the plan, buddy?
I feel excited. I honestly feel excited. And, we're disappointed in the race today. There's no doubt about that, okay? But I'm excited. We live to fight another day. And when we came back to the dock, there was no sort of heads down or, negative energy from any of our teammates or any of our fans or supporters. They were lit up and they're ready for it. Like I said, I can't wait. Let's get out there tomorrow. I wish we could go right now.
Thank you, Nathan. Question from the floor? Yes? Matt Sheehan?
Jimmy, just following on from that, I just wonder whether you would have preferred, given that you've got one race now, backs against the wall, you've got to get this one done, would you have preferred to do that on the back of the adrenaline and being pumped up from that first race, or would you prefer the time to reflect and go out there and really do it that way?
I don't think our approach changes much whether we've done a race or not, Matt, to be honest. I mean, we go through a very, very similar process every day before each race, whether we have a race before it or whether it's the first race of the day. We go through with our coaching staff. Honestly, I think it's probably an advantage, the fact we can really go back and have a look at that race, take the lessons, learn from it, get stronger, come out tomorrow. I mean, my experience from these sort of situations, and we've all been there before, is you just don't have to look too far into the future. The scoreline really doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is winning that next race. And that's exactly how we're going to approach it. And we'll do everything we can.
Thank you. Next, please. Yes, Alison. Live, Sail, Die.
Alison from Live, Sail, Die for Francesco. Looking at the numbers, it seems like New Zealand's always a little bit quicker, but we've seen you guys hold them off on the upwinds as long as you're in front. Can you talk us through the decision to split from them and let them get clean air?
A lot of times it's not your decision. A lot of times you try to defend one side, and by doing so, there is a short split. There was not much. It wasn't a huge split, that one. I think we were pretty much on the middle of the course when we tagged, and we were going to lay line both of us. There were not many ways to approach it differently. You either defend the left or the right. We could have gone into what we call loose coverage, probably, but on the upwind before, we were on the edge of losing the lead again by doing so. So it's pretty hard. And we thought about it. We looked at the pressure. We preferred the left. It was a mistake.
Next, please, Duncan. Okay. Duncan, please.
Duncan Johnson from Stuff. A question for Glenn. Glenn, a fantastic race. Go to match point. Nation on tenterhooks. What are your thoughts on the race the next one being called off? A good decision by Ian Murray?
Yeah, look, I think Ian and his team have done a marvellous job right the way through. Duncan, I think, absolutely the right call. Today it was, big sort of left shift came through. I think everyone was very, very happy with the decision. I think, we're happy to get out there tomorrow and race on a fair race course. So absolutely the right call.
Jimmy, just while we're on that, with the race timed at 5:45 and then 5:55, was there any discussion at all about pulling out the timeout card and pushing it into tomorrow regardless?
No. Actually, to be quite honest, I'm not sure you can do that anyway. Could be wrong. I don't know. I don't think you can do that, but no, we're ready to go, mate.
Next, please. Yes, AB? No, it's not AB.
Abby Wilson from TVNZ. Jimmy, 8 years ago in this position, you sat in a press conference throwing sort of psychological barbs at your opponent. Today, it seems like you're full of compliments. What's changed?
Well, I thought it was an awesome race. And I thought, the scoreline doesn't lie. These guys won the only race of the day. And, I mean, the way I've been brought up, and Keko's the same, is you always pay respects to the competitor you race against. I mean, we've had some awesome battles with these guys over the years. And, I think there's a lot of respect between both sailing teams. And we enjoy the fight, We live to see another day, and we're looking forward to getting out there.
Next, please. Yes, sir.
Tom from TV3. Glenn, when they were playing the video at the start, you were watching and you made a couple of comments to Pete. What was it that you saw that elicited a bit of a laugh?
It was just how good a wheelie we did round the bottom mark, basically. So, yeah, no, it was a good one.
Couple more, yes, sir.
Glenn, Mark here from Stuff. Can you just talk to us about, I guess, the feeling within the camp as you come off the water today? Because I guess for those of us watching, there's a little bit of nervousness, poised on match point. We kind of thought you might have been able to finish the deal today. What's the feeling like within the camp as you come off the water? Do you feel any nerves, or is it all excitement?
Yeah, look, I think as Jimmy and Keko said before, we live to fight another day as well. We've all done a lot of regattas and a lot of championships over the years, and it's part of our sport. So, we're very much taking each day as it comes, and, it's exciting to be able to get out there and race again. So whilst there's a little bit of sort of, would have been, could they have started, we're very comfortable with it, and we're looking forward to getting out there tomorrow, absolutely.
And sorry, just one more. Can you just talk to, I guess, what we've seen in the last three races, because this theory seemed to abound: win the start, win the race. You've come from behind to win 3 straight races now. Do you feel like that's, what's changed and what's enabled you to do that? And do you feel kind of proud that you've been able to win in this manner as well as, lead from in front all the way?
Yeah, look, obviously the start's one part of the race, but, you know, the finish is the other part. So there's a whole big bit in the middle that you've got to deal with as well. It's complex and tricky. So, you know, for us, if we sort of go into each race, you know, very, very open-minded as to, you know, how we're going to, you know, sail that race. There's sometimes where you can have some set plays and some set plans, and there's other times where you've got to sort of go freestyle and actually look at the conditions and make some decisions on the fly. The boats travel very quickly. We're sailing through, you know, puffs and lulls at a huge rate of knots. It's, you know, it's like dot to dot, you know, on steroids as we're going upwind and then sailing back through the same wind shifts and pressure then on the downwind. So the computing sort of mentally that you have to do and what Pete and the rest of the boys have to do on board is at such a fast pace. Sometimes you don't get time to have the conversation. You have to react and anticipate at times what the next moves are going to be before you even get there. So these boys are experts at it, and I'm pretty fortunate to be able to join them in a great group.
William
William
Live, Sail,
Reid,
Die.
Live, Sail, Die. Jimmy and Keiko, when you guys left the Kiwis at the bottom gate there, do you reckon you could have taken them much further, or would you just make it a bit too hard for yourself?
I think from where we were geometrically, I think we took the best gain we could have had, because we came back to that mark with a decent space and angle. I think I'm pretty happy with how we managed that.
Thank you. One last question from the floor. Yes, Richard Gladwell.
Hi, Peter Burling. We've heard what Luna Rossa say their break point was in the race. Where do you think the break point was?
We definitely had, you know, plenty of opportunities. But, yeah, obviously the one where we managed to get ahead was on that good right shift at the top mark. And, you know, it felt like we got pretty close off the line. We got pretty close halfway up the second beat. We obviously had a couple of lead changes down the first run. You know, it was just a good, fun race and, you know, really tight racing. Didn't feel like either boat really got enough of an upper hand to shut the race down. No, I just think it was awesome to be back racing on Course C. You know, it's something that's we've all trained for a lot in the build-up to this event, and, you know, it's just great to get out there and, you know, show what these boats can do in a bit of shifty, flat water. But, yeah, I think Lenny summed it up nicely as well. You know, we're really excited about getting back out there tomorrow, and, you know, it's just amazing to see all the Kiwi fans, you know, cheering on the event and supporting, you know, everyone that's here. Yeah, so it's great to be able to, you know, get out there again tomorrow and do it all again.
Giordana, a few Zoom questions.
First one is Michele Tognozzi, Farivela.
Hi everybody, good morning. Thanks for the terrific show, one of the greatest race ever in America's Cup history. I have a couple of questions, one for Keiko and one for Jimmy. The first one for Keiko, I note that Luna Rossa remained on the water to practice a little bit more after race 10 was abandoned. Why do you choose to train more today? And for Jimmy, we know today a couple of top match race move. So do you think if you can keep the game on the match race side, will be an advantage for you? Thanks.
Regarding the practice, I mean, it was a good opportunity to do one more start and check that everything was working on board before dropping the sails. And yeah, we just used that opportunity. It's always good. More time, more sailing time under the belt. That's good. And Jimmy?
What was the question?
Why did you train after the finish? After the race, you trained?
If we keep the match race close, do you think it's an advantage for us?
I'd just prefer to win by a big margin, mate, to be quite honest.
Next. Thank you.
Justin Chisholm, Yacht Racing Live.
Hi there, guys. The question for Jimmy and for Pete. We've seen such a fantastic race today. There was so little between the teams and the boats. It's even harder to make the call on who has the fastest boat. So can each of you tell us, do you feel like you have the fastest boat?
Pete first.
Yeah, well, I think we're really happy with how our boat goes. It's what we, dreamed of when we were working with the designers to get it to the point it is now. Obviously, it has slightly different modes to, what Luna Rossa sail, and they've got an incredibly good package as well. So I think that's why you're seeing the racing is quite close, is because both boats are going really well, and it's just whoever puts their best foot forward and gets all the little details right around the racetrack seems to come out on top. So we're just making sure we keep tidying up those.
Jimmy?
Yeah, I think Pete summed it up pretty well. I mean, look, the boats have got their sort of pros and cons and their modes. We're happy with our boat. We know our boat can win races. We know our team can win races. That's why we're seeing great racing.
Thank you. Next, one more, one last.
Mark Reed, the Yachtsman magazine.
Good evening, everyone. This is for Glenn Ashby. With the weather that took place for racing back in January, February, is this the right time of year to sail the AC-75s? Was the weather more challenging back then? And then secondly, would you like to see these boats next time?
Yeah, look, firstly, I think, January, February, March in the Southern Hemisphere is generally the best time to have an event. And I think what we've seen over this summer has been an amazing period of sailing these AC-75s. I think we've had a real variance of conditions, and I think that's something that, certainly from a sailing perspective, that you'd really hope to have in any regatta that you go to is a good variance of conditions, particularly, when you've worked on your equipment for such a long period of time. It's, fantastic to go out and put that equipment to the test in a variance of conditions. So whilst we have had a few lighter races, up to date, certainly today's race was, a different type of condition that we haven't seen before, and we saw obviously some fantastic racing. So, I think it's great. And as far as the boats goes, absolutely, I think the boats are absolutely phenomenal. For a round one, if you like, or the first generation of these AC-75s, I think they're a beautiful boat, beautiful looking, beautiful at rest, and beautiful in anger as well. And I think that's one of the special things with the design concept is that the boats themselves do tick so many boxes, and I'm very, very proud, along here with Pete and the boys beside me, to be all part of that. So we're very fortunate in this period.
Thank you for this wonderful day. See you tomorrow.